Wednesday wrap-up show.
What up? What up?
How's it
What's
going,
going
everybody?
on?
Man, we were having
Everything.
a whole show behind the scenes, quiet as kept.
Well, yeah, and with the surprise guest, right, Paul?
yeah.
Rich?
It's always
Yeah,
dope talking to him. So that's why we kind of got a little late start because we were actually having a whole show behind the scenes that was mad dope.
Mm-hmm.
But we're here with you now, and thank you for joining us.
So, and since you're here, go ahead and hit the like button. Tell somebody that we're live. Are we? How are we streaming today? We just streaming through Twitter or Instagram? What we doing?
Oh, you know what? Derek needs
let me work on that.
You can do it.
Boom and boom.
Okay, you got it.
Boom, got it.
Nice. Okay, so hey, this is our Wednesday wrap up. We just drop in, talk about what's going on, comics related, other related. There's a lot of other this week that we can talk about.
There's a whole lot of other.
And we have a very, very special guest. For anybody who was watching last week, we invited him this week. If he was
who we promised that we would have last week.
Absolutely. And that special guest is?
It's me. Stop clowning me.
Mr. Jeffrey Thorne. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, backstage we were having some already good conversation. So yeah, great to be here. So, hey, what's up?
Can we just go ahead and get the foolishness out the way?
Here we go. Let me tell y'all something. My man Rich has been looking forward to this show. He's had some things he wanted to share.
I have a tendency to, it's bad when you desire to roast people.
Oh Lord.
I mean, anytime, roasting people is not really a big deal, right? But I have to self-reflect when I know I want to roast.
I feel like we're gonna need shade alerts and disclaimers.
No, we won't need that.
Y'all bring me in here for a firing squad.
This will not be no shade. Now the question is, do we want to now pick your poison, Paul? Do we want to go old white man, or do we want to go ignorant Negroes? Which one you want to do first? Which one we want to do first? We got old white men and ignorant Negroes. This
is proactive. I can see it coming.
Here we go.
Okay, Rich, you're covered now.
We always take your worst first. Let's go with the old white man.
Okay, old white man. So
here we go.
And of course, we talk about old white man. You know, we're talking about the kingdom, the Disney kingdom. Now, some stuff came out today. They got some people in. I don't even know if you can bring any of that up, Derek. There's a guy at Disney.
I might need to bring it up. Yeah.
Yeah, please bring that up so everybody can kind of be. I love style, so say barbecue chicken. This might be burnt chicken tonight. So,
burnt chicken.
Listen. I am convinced that the world is in the wrong hands of people, and especially with Disney's situation. So they troll this dude out that he talks about. I'm waiting for Derek to kind of find it so I can get the guy's name right. Because we don't want to give credit where credit is due. We want to give people the credit for being stupid.
You're talking about Nelson Peltz?
I believe that's the gentleman.
That is the gentleman's name, correct?
Okay. And so he goes up. What do we need? What do we need an all black cast for? I mean, did Donald Trump join the Disney kingdom? I'm just asking. Where did they get this old fart from? He would even say something like that, or even make mention of the Marvels or whatever. And I know why Disney. I know why you brought him in. I know y'all brought him in, Disney, to help the struggling, pasty fan base that doesn't believe in your product.
Producer, seriously, you're not going to play any disclaimers, nothing?
I'm desperately trying to find this article. I have not played a disclaimer once. I can only do another disclaimer if you really need it.
Disney board for Nelson Peltz questions. Woke Marvel films. Why do I have to have a Marvel movie that's all women? Why do I need an all black cast? I don't know, sir. Why?
Is this man a superhero fan? Seriously, does he care one way or the other? He just want to see these faces. He just does not want them in front of him. You know,
he is one of the major shareholders of Disney.
Yep, and he's making a move to try and take over, and he's the dickhead.
Well, listen, Marvel, you're in the entertainment business, and I get it. You want the white kids to believe in your product again, because they're the only ones that's complaining about quote unquote an all black cast or all female cast or whatever. Nobody else has a problem. You name two characters or two movies out of the whole 18, 19 movies that you put out. We've had like literally 4 Thor movies. The whitest character other than Captain America. And you've had 3 of those. Black Panther's been in what? 3 movies? 2? No, let's see.
Too many, man. That's
Civil War and 2 Black Panther movies.
Yep.
That's been it out of the whole franchise. You got literally 20, 25 different shows or whatever, but this comes out your pie hole.
And the 2 movies he mentioned were both successful films, by the way, that made over $1 billion.
They both broke $1 billion.
Okay. And you ain't seen it. And the funny thing, you ain't seen $1 billion since.
That's right. That's right. I got so many thoughts about this, but this guy is not about the money, clearly.
Exactly.
Right? Because if it's really just about green, sit down and shut your mouth. Collect your check and step away from the table. Right? But that's not what it's about. He does not want to see it. He doesn't want it in front of him. And I'm like, were you going to these movies? Were you going to see Avengers Endgame? This dude? No.
Yeah. It's like when those 2 movies came out, when you got your stock dividends, which were considerable considering how much stock you own in Disney's Marvel projects, did you give the money back because of your outrage, your righteous outrage?
I'm so outraged. He pulls out a stack of hundreds and starts.
That's crazy.
You know. No, it's just standard, man. They buy a seat at the table. A billionaire gets to talk. Multimillionaire gets to talk.
Just look at that pasty dude.
Yeah.
He got his Warby Parker glasses on. He just got off just got off the yacht. probably ate a steak about the size of this, about this big. Well, I gotta have a movie with all black cast. Bruh, really? You that delusional? But hey, this is as Killmonger would say, Paul, this is your king.
Okay.
They're gonna put out there. Then what y'all doing, Disney?
Both the movies he's mad at grossed almost $1.5 billion in initial release. He's mad about women being prominent, but his checkbook is not mad at it. His bank account is not mad at it. So why is he woofing? Right? I always say this about Marvel movies, whether you like them or not. Marvel movies are so successful that the only other movies you can compare them to are Marvel movies. Okay, even a failed Marvel movie can only be compared to other Marvel movies in order to make fun of them. You can't clown them. Oh, you didn't do as well as Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. You only grossed just under $1 billion. Like, what? Right. It's stupid, right?
Yeah. But you know what, though? I think part of it is there's nothing going on at Disney, and they need something to get people talking.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't, you know, I mean, even with the Deadpool movie getting ready to come out, I'm going to be honest. I have not seen a lot of Deadpool commercials or real promotion for that movie. And that movie's supposed to come out in what, July?
Yeah, they're probably fighting with him. Everybody was mad at him on the first one. Everyone's happy on the second one. He's probably doing something on the third one that is making the backstage guys like, damn it, we can't fire him. You know.
Again, wait, is this true? Pericles Dragon Ball says this dude got his daughter cast as Katara in the first live-action version of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Is that true? He looks kind of old. That girl should be his great-granddaughter.
Yeah, well, dude is about 80, man.
That's if it's true, then he just had a kid with one of his side chicks.
I guess so. Damn.
Viagra be going hard.
Look,
no pun intended.
Marvel and Disney overall, they have one issue, and it's the same issue across the board. They thought, oh, they all like Star Wars. They, meaning us out here. They all like Star Wars. They all like these Marvel movies. Let's flood the market with all this stuff as fast as we can because these idiots are going to just show up and eat it, right? But what happened was people are like, this is weak. And there's another one coming in a minute. Oh, this one's weak too. Why are you rushing these things out on the lot? These cars are not fully built yet. Stop it. We don't need them this fast. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
We need that money. Well, you're not going to get it because we're not going to keep buying it.
Yeah, his outrage is misplaced.
Yeah.
I get it. Look, I get it if I'm an investor in Disney and I see a $200 billion loss over the last several years in Disney profits, you want to lay blame somewhere because your pockets aren't as fat as they used to be. But he's picking out as his examples the two films that actually were very successful for Disney, right, and not pointing out films like the last Thor film or the last Ant-Man film, which didn't have an all-women cast,
right?
Which didn't have an all-black cast, that had all white people, and it didn't make any money.
Wait a minute. Again, this is what I'm saying about comparing Marvel movies to other Marvel movies. Thor: Love and Thunder grossed $760 million.
Yeah.
Okay? That's a hair's away from $1 billion on a movie that all geeks are like, not so much. Right?
It's all relative.
It's all like relative. When you say, oh, my pockets aren't as fat as last year, that means one less yacht for you? Like, I don't know what you're bitching about. Shut up.
You know, the real question to ask is, how is it that by investing $15 million, Godzilla, what was it? The Godzilla movie.
Yeah. -1. It made
-1.
They made it for $15 million.
Right.
Yeah. That ate everybody's lunch. That's the real question. What is Disney missing out there? If you really want to focus on return on the investment.
Well, look at what Gordon has said. There's a battle at the top level for control of Disney. The Ike Perlmutter is in one camp, and the current Disney CEO is the other camp, and George Lucas is backing the current Disney CEO. Understand, the current Disney CEO, what's his name? Bob Iger? Bob Iger.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's right.
He's the one that when Ike Perlmutter was saying, I don't want this Black Panther movie to be made, I don't want a film with a whole bunch of Negroes in it. You know, Bob Iger's the one who said, stop the foolishness. Let's make the movie. We want to make the movie to be made. When these guys stood up for the Oscars and stuff, the first person they thanked was Bob Iger. Because without him, Black Panther doesn't get made.
Right.
So there's a fight for the culture of Disney right now. And they're trying to say, well, the reason we're not making as much money is because Bob Iger is running us into the ground with all these woke films. It's this whole culture clash that we have with wokeness and DEI and all other euphemisms that you have for.
All right, you need to put a disclaimer up. People. Yeah, you need to put a disclaimer up for me.
Oh, here we go. Where's the general disclaimer? If Jeffrey Thorne says he needs a disclaimer, give the man his disclaimer. Here we go.
Woke is because they can't say nigger and get away with it.
That was
DEI is because they can't say faggot and get away with it.
Right.
Okay. They found the appropriate words that they can get away with in public, and they can have a little bit of wiggle room. Like, well, I didn't really mean that. But that's what this is about. Okay. Too many gains have been made in too short a time in the United States. And you see them all trying to push back hard. Why are they pushing back hard? It's not even about blackness. It's about brownness. Because this country is about to go hard brown in about 10 years. And even though white folks will still be they'll be the biggest minority still, but they'll be one of the minorities among many. And that's a net loss of power. It's like a 4% loss of power, and they're acting like they got stuck through the guts with a sword already, right? So when you look at a guy like this Peltz guy, what is he mad about? $2 billion+ movies that feature people he'd rather not exist. That's what he's mad about. Not the money, but who made it for him, right? Like, you ultimately get all the benefit from this, right? I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. So they use that word as a gloss over, right? Meanwhile, on the other side, it's not like Disney is some sort of bastion of liberalism, right? This is the company that gave us Uncle Remus. Never forget that, okay?
We didn't forget Disney.
Okay. Nobody should forget all those Chinese cats and the Aristocats and then the Lady and the Tramp. Go look at those movies. Go look at the original cut of Fantasia and see how they treat black people in a Disney movie. Okay, they like you to forget all that.
Don't even get me started on Song of the South.
Dude. Oh, dear God. But all I'm saying is that's a continuity of a company that has been for its existence, for its whole existence, not on our team until relatively recently. And why did they shift? Money. Not because they suddenly started loving all of us, but because they knew there was an audience out there that could spend money that they weren't attracting, right? When they put out a movie, even a movie like The Lion King, which isn't even about black people, it's about animals voiced by black people, mostly in Africa, but it blew up. Oh, damn, we need to make a bunch more of these, right? How long did it take them to get a black Disney princess? You know how much controversy it was backstage? What will that even be?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
They fought tooth and nail behind that.
Though I never forget the crows in Dumbo, yo. I never forget those crows. Okay. But like, don't ever get it twisted that there's a camp that's about money and there's a camp that's about all this other this woke nonsense, like anti-woke nonsense. And these guys are they're at a money level where he can wolf all he wants, because what hurt will he ever suffer? What hammer is ever going to drop on him? He can talk all the smack he wants, and who's going to contradict him? Nobody. He's that rich, but he's wrong, and he's an asshole.
And you got that right. Okay, so this is
the first topic.
Yeah, we're getting ready to go ahead and shift gears and get ready to get into the.
Thank you for that, Rich. That was your fault.
Negro foolishness. Okay, now black comic laws, y'all know we black folks, and you know, and we love our people, but every now and then we have to smack our own people. So y'all about to catch all 5 fingers.
Wow.
So, shout out to Netflix. Netflix is doing Cool Tunes now.
Oh, I saw that today.
So apparently we all woke up and chose violence this morning.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You took one of the most treasured shows.
That's true.
Sometimes. And decided to make an animated version of it, supposed to be a tribute or whatever, and you literally gave us a Project Ghetto minstrel piece of doo-doo.
They minstrelized one of the most acclaimed and important black television shows of all time and thought it was a good idea. And look, I'm on record as saying I give Netflix mad props for the amount of diversity and inclusion, real diversity and inclusion, that they have done on their program. They really do. They do a tremendous opportunities for a lot of representation in their movies and television shows. But you can't be at 100%, can you? They can't all be winners.
Oh no! Oh, listen,
this
Paul.
Was definitely
they about to go. They didn't took a. Oh, I'm gonna tell you like this here. I'm like Denzel Washington in Training Day. I'm putting cases on all you. That goes from
Derek. That needs
Steph
to be
Curry,
one of our memes on the show.
Steph Curry, an athlete that I respect.
Yeah.
Whose name is a part of this?
There's a few names on this.
You just listen. You are a light-skinned brother, and you just got a little bit lighter.
Wow. Oh my God.
Y'all gonna catch this heat tonight.
Oh my
because
God.
Listen, when I saw it, I thought it was some Negroes on the internet playing.
It was like watching watching the trailer is like watching extended TikTok. Like, is this
real life? There and watched it. I sat there and watched the
trailer, right?
I was like, is this real? Is this 2024? We doing this?
Jesus Christ.
Which one of you niggas out there thought this was a good idea?
Well,
here's the thing about Hollywood.
The answer to that question is in the credits.
Paul, they thought, listen, today, look, I gotta call it. You new niggas today. Oh, I can't rock with y'all. Y'all thought it was a good idea to give us the American magical Negroes. Now we got the ghetto. We got the ghetto niggas. You took Good Times, a beloved show, and y'all marched this foolishness out there.
You know, Good Times. One of the things that makes Good Times brilliant is that it was a real portrayal of life of a black family, of a working class black family, which represented a large portion, particularly at the time that film came out, that television show came out. It was a real portrayal of the life of a working class black family. I'm not going to use the term ghetto. I'm not going to use the term poor. I'm going to use the term working class for very specific reasons, because that's what they were. You had a mother, a father, both working, kids trying to make a better life for the kids. Some of the kids working. That's what real black life is about, right? For the majority of us. This trailer is not that. It's like you want to take all of the caricatures, all of these stereotypes of black culture, and put the label of one of our most celebrated television shows on it. That I'm watching the credits of all the actors and actresses who are involved and producers. I'm like, what were y'all thinking?
No, they weren't thinking. They was not thinking at all. I mean, look, shout out to Aaron McGruder and Boondocks, because they literally predicted a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, the people that's supposed to be attached to this film should know better. These are not a bunch of unknown people.
No, they were not.
These a lot of black. A lot of black girl magic, and a bunch of stupid. I mean, I just do not know how they got past the editors.
Well, all I can say is we haven't seen anything. I haven't even seen the trailer yet. Maybe they read it and thought,
you know what, Mr. Thorne? You know what you need to do? You need to take a commercial break, and you need to go watch it and come back. So I'm telling you, that was disturbing to me.
Hold on.
When I saw it.
Y'all keep it going. I'll be right back.
I will not watch that trailer again. I don't want the algorithm to get the hit.
No. We don't have to bring it up. I'm just look. that was, dude, I'm just wondering, Paul, these are the children of these are the heirs to the throne.
Bro, they literally had every single black stereotype you could imagine in one trailer.
It was.
I mean, to their credit, to their credit, it takes talent to put every single black stereotype you could possibly think of in a less than 2-minute trailer.
So it's worse than the What If Miles Morales from the Thor?
Oh, listen, Miles, listen. We need to get that dude his money back. That right there. You hadn't seen it, Derek?
No, I haven't seen it yet. That's why I've been quiet.
You know what? Tell you what. Set up some commercials, Derek.
No.
Take a commercial. Let's take an extended break. Because I need you to see this. I listen. Me and Paul not tripping. This is some foolishness.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. I tried to look at it. I tried to be as favorable and objective as possible, but the more I watched, the worse it got. Like literally,
I'm just shocked. And I said a few weeks ago that niggas want to do nigga stuff. That's ooh. And here's the funny thing about it. See, I get upset because we sit and we plead with people. We ask for diversity. We ask for things that are ours or whatever. And I'm like, is this the best y'all can do?
Look at Amir's comment from 1 in 100 podcast.
For every moon, girl, and devil dinosaur, you will get 8 different types of BS shows.
I enjoy taking the time out to sit on the couch and watch episodes of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur with my daughter. It is a positive show. It's a hip show, if you want to use that term. And it's a real positive representation of Black culture. And it's a real representation of Black culture. The family, you got a genius girl who's into STEM.
Mm-hmm.
She's a hero, good values, funny, action-packed, always got great music going on in every episode. That's real Black culture to me.
Yeah.
How do you have talent that does something like that and equate it to do something like that?
They could have called it anything but Good Times. They didn't need to call it Good Times. I just watched the trailer.
Call it Baby's Kids, the Next Generation or something.
Whatever you want to call it, this is not Good Times. And I noticed that Norman Lear's name is in the producer credits.
Yeah, they got him as an executive producer.
It takes about 2 years to start a cartoon from scratch to get it to the screen. Norman Lear died in 2023. So I'm not going to say that he would sanction whatever this mess is. Yeah. I'm sure he went into it with the best intentions, get his property back in the public eye. I don't know what these other people are thinking about, but all I will say is this: there's a difference between people laughing with you and people, laughing at you.
Right.
This is a laughing at you show.
This shit takes us back 10 years, maybe 20.
Easy.
Oh, I'm very 20, bro. That's 70s. That's
yeah. But remember, those shows started in the 70s. The show that's being destroyed started in the 70s.
Right.
In order to offset shows like this show.
Right. Right. Exactly that point.
I just do not understand. I'm really frustrated because, like I said, we talk about, representation matters. And here's the thing: when someone like that's legitimate, like Monique, comes off and asks her community to boycott Netflix because she wasn't getting the money that other comedians would, got. We was like, "Oh, Monique, chill." Most of our attitude was like that. And then when we talk about, putting certain things on certain platforms, whatever, man, they need to do this, they need to do that. Nobody asked for this, but we got it. Somebody, you know, and you know, my thing is the people that I saw, the names, they didn't need a check. Not one. I don't remember. I don't think any of them people that was attached to that needed a check.
I guarantee they think it's edgy. I guarantee you they think it's a kind of.
That's my problem, though, Mr. Thorne. This is the problem with the new Negroes. They don't know real. They don't know what satire is. They don't really know what real comedy is. I just juice. I need to go back to the drawing board and start over.
Real satire of black culture would be like what I saw in the Boondocks.
Bamboozled.
You know, that's satire.
I mean, Blackish in a way.
Yeah.
It's not like people can't be made fun of. Hell, we clown the hell out of ourselves all the time.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Here's the problem. One of the problems with our culture right now, though, is I don't watch shows that I know from the trailer I'm not going to like. I don't sample them to make sure. Did I misjudge this show? I'm like, your trailer is supposed to make me watch your show. If it didn't, you failed. So, but they don't care. There's no difference between clicks because I hate you and clicks because I like you. There's no difference between $1 that's spent to hate buy something so I can burn it on YouTube and $1 spent because you liked it. They don't care. So this is going to be controversial when it comes out. It just is. It's probably already becoming controversial now. Free publicity. Some people are going to watch it and love it. And there's a whole stack of money out there that you and me and all these old heads are going to be like, why are y'all doing this? And they can be like, shut up, man. You're thin. Your skin's too thin. You're old. I don't want to hear from you. It makes me laugh. Shut up. Jay-Z liked it. I mean, maybe Jay-Z hates it. But whoever the current Jay-Z is, because I don't pay much attention anymore. But whoever let's say Charlemagne the God says, chill, you old guys need to shut up. That's it for us having a conversation about it.
Yeah. Well, right? I mean, I just think
like
that
Mike watches comment right here.
What does he say?
How are these Nicole Brown? This is what I was talking about. When you read the credits, it's like,
none of them dudes needed a check. None of them.
Wanda Sykes. Like, look, I'm not gonna begrudge anyone for securing a bag. You want to get your check, you want to get your check, but not all money's good money, man. I mean, y'all far enough along in y'all careers that you could have passed on this one.
Like I say, we haven't read it. We haven't seen the episodes. We saw the trailer, what they think will make people want to come and watch their show. I did not like that trailer. I will not be watching that show.
Yeah.
Period. So you're going to have to convince me after episode 20, Jeff, you were wrong. The trailer made it look different than it actually is. But remember, racists spend money too, man. They spend money.
This is a Nazi's wet dream.
No joke. No joke.
I'm just listening. We fight against this stuff daily. I mean, because that's gonna be the talking in the water cooler. Hey, did you see that new show on Netflix? Good time. Man,
I'm gonna make a prediction for you guys. You're gonna be very frustrated with the younger set because they're gonna all go watch this shit and they're gonna be clapping each other on the back and quoting it and saying you guys' skins are too thin and you're gonna get frustrated as hell. I promise you, because it's just the culture we live in. It's like you're taking it too seriously, old man. None of this stuff matters, right? And we're here with a little bit of longevity on this going, it kind of all does matter. And the reason we know it does, they wouldn't keep doing it if it didn't matter. Advertising works. It does. You know how we know? They keep doing it. Somebody's making money, right? It's the same kind of thing. I mean, I'm not going to call anybody anything. Like you said, you got to get that bag. I don't know what anybody's personal life is like. I've made decisions where I took a job for a show. Nothing this egregious where I was like, I don't love this show. I don't even like this show, but I need some money this year. I'm out. I need to fill up the coffers. But like, I can't judge that yet. Yeah. Like, it has to be so extreme for me to go, okay, why did you take this job? I'm giving them the one backup where they can say, you guys have not read the scripts. None of us have seen the actual thing. But I'm not going to based on this ad for the thing. because the things it's telling me what it's going to be. And I'm like, well, if that's what it's going to be, you don't want my money. You don't want my eyes on you, which is fine. But the eyes they do want may be numerous. Racists spend money. They just do.
Yeah, we're sitting on a lot of super chats here. We want to.
Here we go.
Quickly. All right. So first of all,
Bo Biggs.
Oh, God damn.
Thank you, sir.
Donation. It's a donation. I thought it was the trash. Don't be hitting on me.
Thank you.
Bo Biggs may have just coined the term #CoonTunes.
No, I did. He got that from me.
He said that.
That's you.
Rich said that.
Yeah.
All right, Rich, you deserve.
Rich came in hot. Rich came in hot.
I told you, I had that locked and loaded. I was like, look at what we doing.
Wow.
But look, here's the thing. I please. This is a PSA. Don't none of y'all come to me and ask me about diversity. None of y'all come to me and ask me about representation. As long as that's running on Flex Mix, you can't ask me nothing. None of y'all. Because listen, and the thing is, at some point, people have got to just realize that some stuff is just not okay.
Yeah.
Paul, they thought that the society, the American society. Now, you want to hear something ironic? They had a movie called The American Society of Magical Negroes. Listen, Negroes only live in America. That's an oxymoron or redundancy at its finest. But they really thought that we was going to run to the theaters to see that foolishness. A secret organization that makes white folk comfortable about their oppression.
Well, there's a way to tell that story. That could have been satirical as hell. Bagger Vance could have been in that movie.
Right.
Okay. Ironically, both played by Will Smith. Hancock could have been in that movie. Okay. Please don't let me hear my TED talk on Hancock. Okay. But I'm saying, like, it's so much more big than these things we're discussing. These are just examples of various pushback trends, right? I think a lot of people out there in the world probably feel like, doesn't it feel like time's running out? Don't you hear a clock ticking in your head sometimes? Like, are we at the end of something? Is something coming? Like, people are tense in that way, right? Yeah. Negative anticipation is all over the place. And what it really is the pendulum used to be all the way over here for white people. Everybody knew it. Black people knew it. Everybody knew it. Not happy about it all the time, but we knew it. Now the pendulum's about here, right? Right here. It hasn't shifted yet, but it's about right here. And you can see it's going to be right here in a little while. Yeah. And you're seeing in all levels of society, certain groups, certain people within those groups are losing their minds. Right?
JT just dropped something. He talked about excellence. And to me, that's really what the movie should have been. Because that's the way you tell that story. You right, Mr. Thorne. But I'm just, you know what? There's a guy in Houston. Actually, he's the Nation of Islam minister for Mosque 45.
Okay.
And he had a show on the radio station, and his favorite thing to say was, the people are smarter than you think. And I'm coming to the conclusion that is the truth. However, it's a lot of you dumb. Paul, it used to be an honor to be a smart nerd.
Yeah.
Now we got dumb nerds. I mean, how do you get that?
As you think about it, there's not a single image or caricature of Black culture that you saw in that trailer that has not been explored on the Boondocks television show.
Yep.
They've tackled all those, but they did it in a way that was satirical. Like it was pointing the finger at that and saying, yeah, this is a caricature. This is crazy. This is not good. That's not what this trailer showed. I mean, the trailer was like one long, this is all the worst parts, the worst things that are stereotypes of Black culture are, without the message portion of it that the Boondocks would have. Yeah, this ain't getting any of my time.
I want, if anybody out there knows Eddie Murphy personally, can somebody holler at Eddie? Because I remember watching the PJs, which was the show in the hood, but these were funny characters. There were negative images in it, but it was a positive show because it was about a couple that lived in the projects. But for whatever reason, this is bottom barrel stuff. And we don't have to do none of this stuff.
I could be devil's advocate all night on this. I don't agree. I agree with you, Rich. But all they're going to do is push back and say you can't limit comedy. Just because it's not for you doesn't mean it's not for somebody. We're trying to be satirical here. Just because you're not feeling it doesn't mean we missed. Like all of the stuff, I know exactly what you're going to hear. You can predict it, okay? But they're courting the controversy by doing it this way. They want you to be mad. They want people to be woofing. If people are out in front of Netflix picketing, that's going to put more eyes on their service.
Yep.
Right? People are going to join Netflix just to see what the fuss is about. Right?
But you know what?
They don't care.
But here's the thing, though, Mr. Thorne. I'm mad at these Bammers.
Bammers, I haven't heard that in so long.
I'm mad at these Bammers because they literally just literally stole the shine that Regina King should have gotten for Shirley, which just premiered on Netflix. And here's something I didn't know, Paul. I didn't know that Shirley Chisholm was Jamaican. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that until you just said that right now.
He was today years old before he knew that.
I did not know that.
I did not know that either.
Yes, sir. And so the funny thing is, me and my wife, we watched that show the other night, that movie the other night. And I'm like, man, this is kind of cool stuff that I'm glad Netflix does. Then we get this here. And I'm literally a sneeze away from wanting to drop my subscription because that's foolishness. I'm just like, oh,
right, I'm going to try this one to you as well. And it's that somebody put up that Malcolm X quote about liberals. That is true in many different levels. One of which is we want to do diversity and inclusion. We want to get that money, certainly, right? But we're not really knowing who these people are. So what we're going to do is race swap some white characters. We're going to throw these characters in over here where they never were. And all of the people who are in those communities that we always left out, they're going to, oh, great, I'm rolling. I got a Black Captain America now.
Wow.
Right? Why are all
your internet stream's about to get interrupted. I'm forewarning you. Because when you start spitting facts and spitting truth like that.
I'm the same way at all times. Everybody who knows me knows what I think about this stuff. Now, I work in the system. I sell stuff in the system. I know how it works, and it is often not pretty, and it is often very courageous and very pretty. There are lots of kinds of people making product, right? But this particular thing across the board, the fuel that the anti-woke guys get is because they're doing a crappy job at it on the good guy side. They're just doing it bad, right? Instead of making Heimdall Idris Elba, which was a big fat waste of Idris Elba from my point of view, you could have put him in a whole bunch of other pants than anything else, okay? Instead of doing that to say, hey, here's a Black guy, right? Yeah. Look at your catalog and go, What are we doing with, at that time, Black Panther? What are we doing with Black Panther? What are we doing with so-and-so? They don't think that deeply about it. They think extremely shallow and short-term about it, right? So unless Lawrence Fishburne shows up to be the head of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur cartoon, which is so out of left field that why is he even doing that, right? You have a 50-50 shot of being offended or being pleased, right? Because they don't know what they're doing in this regard, because in a certain basic way, their heart's not really in it. It still comes down to it's just about that money. Do the minimum, not the max. Yes, Idris Elba could have killed on Blue Marvel. Are we doing a Blue Marvel? Why is Wonder Man black? You have Blue Marvel.
Yeah, facts.
Right?
You know
so you can see out front, white boys are mad already.
How does a race swapped Wonder Man get a film over Blue Marvel? I can't.
Well, all I know is that them Blue Marvel action figures are still $5.99 at Ollie's.
Yep.
So, oh, Derek, can we go to commercial? Come back and reset.
Well, we still have 2 more super chats. We still have 2 more super chats. I just want to get to. Then we go to a commercial.
My blackness needs some time to heal.
So shout out to Rich for snatching wigs tonight.
Did come in snatching wigs. Damn.
Tron World.
Tron World.
Thank you, Tron World. Appreciate it.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, we need to take a quick break and give ourselves a monkey bath and come back.
I might burn some sage. I might burn some sage during the month.
Oh my God, you came with the flames tonight. Damn.
All right. On to commercial.
What's up, comic fam? It's your boy Paul with an exclusive look at a dope new section of our blackcomiclords.net website. Head to the site, click on Black Indie Comics for your selection of the dopest black comics around. And if you're a black comic creator and you want to be added to the site, send us your link with a copy of your logo so we can add it in there. But be patient. We're getting there. We're getting there. Much respect to all of you.
Shout out to the Black Comic Lords for having me on the show, and also for being true believers in every aspect of comic books and nerd culture.
I'm Eve Ewing, and this is the Black Comic Lords.
Hello, this is Larry Fuller, the creator of Evan, with a shout out to the fine folks at Black Comic Lords. Keep up the good work.
Hey, y'all know it's me. This is OMG, and this is Black Comic Lords.
Black Comic Lords. Yo, Black Comic Lords.
Black Comic Lords.
Black Comic Lords with your boy Lonzo Starr. Check in.
You're here with the Black Comic Lords.
You're here with the Black Comic Lords. Stay demented.
I am Professor John Jennings, and I'm a Black Comics Lord.
Black Comic Lords for life. Let's go. BCL for life, baby.
Black Comic Lords.
Black Comic Lords. Follow.
Subscribe now. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to all our wonderful guests and people that we've interviewed over these few couple years that we've been here. Shout out to all of those guys. And we got one of those Black Comic Lords here with us tonight, y'all. So we've woosah'd a little bit. Let's talk about some comics.
Yeah, please. Please don't give me any more trouble than I'm already
in. Let's talk about some comics. What's going on, Paul? What we got that came out today and this week?
All right. Well, let's go to our blackcomiclords.net website.
This is what happens when you allow people who don't use season to cook in the creative kitchen. Hey, amen to that. Amen to that. Stay out.
Okay, that's
good. Lord.
Go to the website. Let's go to best new and upcoming comics. Let's see what came out this week.
I think it was a light week this week too.
It was a light week. There wasn't a whole lot of cool stuff. Whoops, hold on. All right. Amazon's Attack. What can I say about the series?
Well, Paul, we don't see that. We see.
Yeah,
oh crap! I keep forgetting
I
gotta switch. My bad. I got it.
I think that's the last issue too. I believe
it is the last issue.
I said, did you pick up that $8.99 miles and rounds today? No.
Amazon's Attack. It's the last issue.
There we go.
I actually read this.
It wasn't what it's supposed to be, huh?
It had Nubia in it. Look, I'm not trying to show any biases, but this was not the writing of Stephanie Williams' Nubia.
No.
Let's just leave it at that. With Stephanie Williams writing, Nubia, Queen of the Amazons, and Coronation Day, and these other stories with Nubia, there's a certain level of writing about this character. This Amazon's Attack is not that.
Tragic. You know what? I got to get the book because I didn't already bought the first 5, so I got to buy it. Tragic. You know what? Just move on.
Needle.
Next one.
In terms of Amazons, and the answer to all those questions is no.
Tragic.
Next.
You know
All right. What else we have?
Black Hammer.
I didn't read Black Hammer, but Jeff Lemire always does some dope work.
I'm not reading this. Is this a good series?
I read the first series. This is the second one involving Lucy, the daughter here of the original Black Hammer. I have not read the second series. The first series was dope, but it got a little weird. Jeff Lemire is not, he's one of these writers who I credit with the ability to get weird, to let his imagination run wild. But sometimes it gets so weird, it's kind of like, that's a road I'm not willing to go down.
Yeah, I know that. That's like when you in somebody's house, and the house is nice and all that, right? And you just kind of walk around, and then just kind of walk to one hallway, and then it's just kind of like, okay.
Yeah. Frustrated saying it's a really good series. The problem is that it's all over the place because it has.
It is. That's his writing. It's all over the place. You don't know where you're going, and you got to have in superhero comics there has to be certain parameters, and his parameters are like, I don't define parameter. I don't believe in parameters. So it has a view of going all over the place, and it's a little messy for me. But he's a good writer. He's a great writer. And he always does great representation when it comes to Black characters. But it's not for me, personally. Now, Rich,
Philadelphia.
Your boy.
Man, you guys go off on this book. I'm not reading that either.
Man, that's good.
You gotta read this one.
Is it in trades yet?
It's a couple trades. It's in a couple trades.
I'll grab trade number 1 and I'll make a judgment.
I'm gonna be honest. When they do the omnibus, I'm going to spend that bread to get the omnibus.
Damn.
For that, even though I got all the floppies. I mean, I just love that book.
I agree with you, Rich. Even I don't really buy omnibuses. I can count on probably one hand how many omnibuses I have. This would be worth having in an omnibus because it's just that good.
Wow, that's high praise. All right.
Your
strange story has intrigued me. I shall go and look at it.
I'm just listen, Mr. Thorne. I'm gonna just tell you like this here. If nothing else, just go get to whet your appetite. Go get volume 1. Go get volume Philadelphia, volume 1, Sins of the Father, the very beginning of it. Just go get the trade for that. Just start with that. I promise you.
Literally on Amazon right now buying that book. Like
this is without any type of hesitance, I would say it's the best book on the shelves today.
Wow. Holy crap.
It's that good.
Rodney Barnes is chilling.
Okay.
I can't wait till they bring that to
our
big
boy
screen.
James Tomlinson, I don't read Spawn anymore because it got a little sacrilegious for me, and the few little vestiges of
which is funny because Jay the Blurred is asking about those books particularly. When it gets a little crazy.
Well, you said King Spawn is good.
Yeah, but I am reading King Spawn is very good.
Tell us about it.
Go on, Rich, now.
Go ahead and tell us about it,
purchased.
Oh, well, King Spawn is basically about it's another Al Simmons story, except in this particular story, there was a story arc that actually is they're just starting anew. They kind of reset everything, but basically, there was the throne of hell was empty, and so the whole thought is that Al, you're going to become the new king. And because he killed Malbosia, he killed the devil, but he didn't really want it to do it or whatever. So he kind of like recruited a whole lot of other people because there were other people that were trying to go after the throne. And basically it was a race to get to the throne. So somebody's now sitting on the throne. It's not Al, but that's basically what the story has been about. It's about him becoming the king of all spawns or the king of all of hell. So. But yeah, it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope.
So Jay the Blur did ask a question. Do one of y'all have extra copies of Spawn 119, 174, and 175?
And them books is high. them books is high. The print runs on those books are low, and which is why they go for the kind of the bread that they go for now. But yeah. So.
And he had another question, Paul. The question is, how could someone get on the panel? So
get on the panel? What panel?
This panel.
On this show. That costs money, dude. That costs a lot of money.
Ask Jeffrey Thorne how much he paid us.
You need like I think you need, what is it, a 4K buy-in just to get on the list.
I will simply say this: that Jay, keep coming back, hanging out with us. You know what I'm saying? Participating in the chat. We could make something happen. I ain't made no promises, but we just can't cold call.
Now
this is killing it tonight. Holy God.
This is Miles Morales 18 legacy number 300.
Yeah,
this is
$8.99.
300th.
It's sitting in my box. It's sitting in my box at the LCS.
I haven't read it yet because it's Wednesday. The only drawback of doing the Wednesday wrap-up show is that the books just came out, so we don't, for the most part, get a chance to read a lot of these books by the time we do the show. But our boy James Tomlinson said it's a dope book, worthy of the 300 number. But just that's significant, man. I mean, we just talked about King Spawn. Spawn is the longest-running black superhero comic character of all time. I think Miles Morales might be number 2.
Oh, so we don't want to bring up that he's got more books than Black Panther.
He has more books than Black Panther. He is number 2, I think.
That's crazy.
If there's someone else, let me know. But I'm pretty sure Miles Morales is the number 2 longest running black superhero self-titled ongoing series of all time.
Speaking of Miles, did anybody see the Miles Morales video that hit today?
No. Oh, the little 7-minute thing joint?
Yes.
From the Spider-Verse movie?
Yes, that one. Did you see that yet?
I heard about it. I haven't actually watched the episode.
Yeah, I got check that out. See, that was.
Can we play it without getting in trouble?
Oh no, we're not playing that here. No.
I've consulted the legal department. They're like, no.
Yeah, that would be me. I'm the legal department.
Yeah,
I was testing.
And we just told you no.
this.
Oh no, 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 no.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Jada Bird, he was hold up real quick, Derek. But he says those issues that he's looking for are the issue that had a first gunslinger in them. They're 150 and up. Now here's the thing: Todd McFarlane is getting ready to expand the Spawn universe, somewhere like 10 to 15 titles. So there's going to be a lot of new books that are going to probably from the old, because that's what he does. He pulls from the Spawn lore to create new stuff or whatever. So, man, shout out to all of y'all that got these Spawn books in y'all collection, because you're sitting on some keys and you probably don't even know.
This Miles Morales cover is dope. This is the Mr. Garcia.
Yeah, that's for all the pictures.
This is like very much like the one that he did with the Black Panther one, with all the different Black Panthers and made a collage.
Yep.
This is
probably
cool.
That's probably not going to be at my shop. I'm pretty sure I got a Miles Morales, but I'm pretty sure it ain't that one. If he put that one in my box, I might give him.
Is it a
this
ratio?
One's actually
or
not an incentive variant. This is a regular variant, regular cover price variant.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Somebody don't snatch that up. I don't unless he bought a few, but I think I might wind up with cover A, which is cool. But yeah.
Well, you wouldn't have that problem, Rich, if you pre-ordered your books.
No, my books are pre-ordered, but I mean, I can't
but
go
I'm
through
saying
all of
we have the website. I go through all the trouble of letting you know the covers that are coming out on the website. And
you see what I have to deal with, Mr. Thorne? You see what I have to deal with?
But Richie does do that though, and then you complain.
Well, you know, sound like Black life in America.
I put in all this hard work to build this organization up. And where's my reparations?
I want to animate.
Where's my reparations?
Anyway, yeah.
Oh,
okay. I didn't. You know, you're right. I should have pre-ordered that cover. You know, and for $9, yeah, okay.
Spider-Punk Arms Race. Our boy Cody Ziegler doing his damn thing.
Yep.
Man, we appreciate you, Paul.
Derek, that sounds very hollow, but I appreciate the fact.
Frustrated said that.
Huh?
Frustrated put that in the chat. Yeah, frustrated. I know you can't see it, so I'm just telling you what I'm putting on the screen.
I can't see the screen right now because I'm on the other screen. Arms Race, dope covers. I like this one.
Yeah, that's ill. That's pretty ill.
That's the Ryan Stegman cover.
Man, I hope he put that in my box. He said, "But like the father in the house, all we got for you is the big piece of chicken." Yep, for the most part.
Finally, this Wolverine run is co-written by Victor Laval, the writer of the Destroyer series, the Eve series. He's co-writing with Brian. I think it's Brian Percy. Benjamin Percy. Sorry, Benjamin Percy.
Yeah.
And this is a dope series, man. His run when Victor Laval got on his book, this has been a very good Wolverine run. I stopped collecting Wolverine a few years ago. He was one of my favorite superheroes. This one got me back to collecting Wolverine. Bloody, graphic storytelling, world building in terms of the Wolverine mythos, agency in terms of real bad things happen that are going to stick.
Yep.
This has been a dope Wolverine run. If you're a fan of Wolverine, you'd be hard pressed to not like this current run that's going on right now. This storyline, this Sabretooth War.
See, the thing about that is, I dropped the Wolverine book before Victor Laval got on it because he was writing the Sabretooth stuff or whatever, right? And so they brought him on to write, but by that time I had dropped it. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
So Paul,
and Victor Laval brought back his characters from the Sabretooth run, the Exiles run, and brought, honestly, one of the blackest mutant book runs of all time. He low key made it and brought those characters over into this run as well. So that's kind of cool.
So
well, that's it.
Now,
those are our
now,
books for the week.
Chat, you keep on feeding Paul's ego. And you don't know what's
My
gonna happen.
ego? You think I do this for my ego?
Tragic. You know what?
Hey, so Jay says, Paul, big shout out to you on the Brian Edward Hill interview. Great show.
You know what? That dude, let me tell you something.
That was good.
That dude is entertainment.
Man, I got to bring him back just because it got to the point where it was a struggle to do the interview because I kind of just want to just vibe with the dude because I was singing on a live with Brian Edward Hill.
Yeah, I was tripping.
We were tripping. We were just like all we needed. I mean, honestly, he should have been on my Wakanda Whiskey and Blurredom show. That's the type of vibe we had going on. Like we should have had some drinks and just be chilling. Cool dude, laid back dude, funny as hell.
Yep,
funny as hell.
Very funny. Very funny.
He knows one of the things that hurt my heart was hearing him say, I don't really do a lot of cons because there's a lot of other creators that don't like me.
I don't understand. I was here for that. I had to leave a little early, but I was here for that statement.
Right? Like, that was kind of crazy. Like that hurt my soul as a OG Blurred, right? Like an OG black nerd.
That's
like
gotta
Rich,
be
we talk about this all the time about what it was like being back in the day, a young black boy who is into this stuff, and you didn't have other people like you to talk about the stuff with, and the loneliness of being a black nerd back in the day. It's cool to be a black nerd now. They call it blurs, and you got anime. It's cool to be a blurred now, but back in the day,
look,
when we were young, our generation was
to the
young.
comic book shop, uphill, barefoot, on broken glass.
Yeah,
and getting home was uphill also.
Like it was a unicorn back in the day. We were unicorns, and the loneliness of that, I felt that when he was like, I don't really go to cons because a lot of creators don't really mess with me. I'm like, what? That's crazy to me.
Well, to me, I think I heard that part, but I think I understand why.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm saying this is because the comic book community, and I'm not privy to it, but I've been around enough comic book podcasts and listen to some of these guys talk or whatever. It's a club for some of these dudes. And Brian Hill doesn't necessarily have that history.
Yeah.
Dude came in as a screenwriter or
yeah,
he didn't necessarily
he did indie comics.
He and that was what Wildstorm when he did the Michael Cray stuff. That stuff was brilliant.
But he did his own. He did the Postman one and what was
American Carnage?
Yeah. Like, look, it is a club, and that's both good and bad. I'm not in the club either. There are people who are probably in the club who I knew before they were doing comics. So that's like a personal relationship prior to any of this nonsense. But in terms of that club thing, and it keeps coming back to this, and people will spin this the wrong way. But part of it is who'd you grow up with, who'd you go to college with, how'd you grow up, and as far as I can tell, I've never met Brian in person. But if he's a physically imposing black man, right?
Yeah.
That's going to make some people kind of lean back, right? I'm not justifying it. I have the problem as well. I've been in many a meeting where people are like, is he going to get mad? And I'm like, honey, if something like this was going to make me mad, I wouldn't have made it to this office, right? I'm like the Hulk, right? Like just poking me is not going to do it. You're going to have to go way harder to get me to hook out, right? And I think that's probably Brian Hill. What I got from that was it wasn't just they don't like him. I felt like there was some kind of hostility going on. Like, and all I can think of is he seemed like a person who doesn't take any crap from anybody. And he's a killer. Like, I'm a fan of, like, I'm a game peeps game type of dude, right? Like, if I see you and you're better than me, I want to sit down next to you. I don't want to be like, oh, that fool, here he is now. Like, I'm not, my best friend is like, I'm not even, my best friend is so frosty. He's like, I'm not friends with anybody who can't teach me something. And I was like, that's kind of cold, man. There's some people that are dumber than you. Like, he's like, I'm just telling you what it is, Jeff. Right? Like,
That's
okay.
funny.
But
That's
you know,
funny.
the opposite of that is I don't want to be around anyone who's going to make me look bad at all.
Yeah.
And Mr. Hill can write for real.
Yes, he
Like
can.
he's a real world, real writer.
He is.
So like that could be enough.
So to put a button on this topic, this is a dope interview. If you want the treat to see Brian Edward Hill and Paul singing the Highlander song, check out that video.
No, they did not.
Yes, they did.
That happened after I left. Oh my God. What is going on with you people?
Yeah, man.
Paul was having too much fun. That wasn't even work for Paul. That was just hanging out.
It was opposite. It was work because I had to, like, on the one hand, contain my fanboydom because, you know, I really love this dude's writing. And then on the other hand, I have this job to do where I have to do the job of interviewing him. And we keep going on these tangents because the guy's all over this place and he's having fun. And it's like, all right, yeah. Let's get back to your book.
Yeah.
It was.
I mean, you know, but he did, to his credit though, he did give you 2 hours.
He did. You
know, so you know,
more time than he
he did this, you know, jet and run or whatever. I mean, you guys, you guys covered a lot of stuff, but a lot of the stuff was, you know, comedy material. His Trump impersonation was hilarious.
I missed
Oh
that.
my God, the guy's hilarious.
Yeah, you know, and so
all the James Bonds, all the different James Bonds.
Yeah. Listen, I was here for the James Bond talk because I mean, you could tell he's a real fan. Dude knows all the actors and all the stories. So I'm like, whoa, that's a real nerd.
He loves movies, man. He's in that movie life for real.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can go deep with him on that. He'll be talking about shot construction, composition, musical cues. Like he's that dude. So, you know, but I loved it too. It was great.
Yeah, I want to bring him back after he's done with this this Blood Hunt storyline, the Midnight Suns, because he alluded that when we asked him questions about the future of Black Panther or Blade, there is a future, but he wasn't really kind of allowed to talk about it. So hopefully closer to that time, we can bring him back on and hopefully be in a position where he can talk about what's up next for him.
I hope that Ultimate Black Panther is him auditioning to take over the main book.
I have some theories about that, honestly. You know, I'm it's not a secret, my feelings about how Marvel's handled Black Panther in terms of starting with the whole recast T'Challa thing and how I said, you know, the comics at this point for Marvel are promotional materials for the movies, for the MCU. And if logically speaking, with that premise, if they say Black Panther's dead in the MCU, that's going to have a ripple effect on what's going to happen with the character in the comics. He's going to have to be sidelined in some way.
He's not going to die, Paul.
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. That's not what I said. I said he has to be sidelined in some manner or capacity to remain consistent with that narrative that's in the MCU. And so it's good for Marvel that Ultimate Black Panther is doing so well because they get to keep the OG, you know, hardcore Black Panther fans happy with a version of the character that they like, but nothing that happens in an Ultimate run has any effect in the 616 universe.
Well, that's only if you that's only if you want T'Challa on the screen. And that's not going to happen until after 2027.
I'm a Black comic lord. I don't care about T'Challa on the screen
as
much as I care about T'Challa in the comics in the 616 universe. But it's an advantage for Brian Hill because when you're doing Ultimate Comics, you don't have to worry about
they don't count
MCU That's repercussions.
Right. They don't count.
No baggage.
Right.
There's no baggage. Like when we interviewed Eve Ewing, she was like, "There's certain things I can't do or talk about because, you know, think about the books I've written: Ironheart, Photon, Black Panther. These are all MCU properties. There's only so much she could talk about. Like everything you try to talk to her about, she's like, I can't talk. I'm not allowed to talk about that. Brian Edward Hill, he's like, yeah, I'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. You know, I can do whatever I want.
I guess for me, from the standpoint, see, I don't, you 616 guys. That's all I'm gonna say.
Wait a minute. What?
You 616 guys. You 616 guys.
Without 616, no comics.
That's right.
I'm talking about DC too. Without 616, no comics.
Look, here's the thing, Mr. Thorne. I get it. I really do. But they are just really pulling our chain when it comes to this stuff. So it's kind of like, okay, the whole, and that's why I feel for Black Panther fans, because you guys really, really want to be excited, but you can't. It's like going out. It's like, Mr. Thorne, respectfully, it's like going out with the dime piece.
Listen to me.
Knowing you can't close the deal.
Out of that book when the rape camp showed up. Okay, I checked out of Black Panther when the rape camp showed up.
Yeah, we have to use another word. Can't use that word.
Oh well, that's what they were.
No, call it what it was.
Okay,
that was not. That was
That was a left turn they took. It was the first domino that went
It was.
Coates was doing his own thing on that. I mean,
and listen, this is two kinds of marketing that have nothing to do with creativity. One, that man had a Pulitzer. He was all up in the culture. He's on MSNBC every 5 minutes, writing for New York Magazine or the Atlantic or whatever. You know, from the point of view of the backstage dudes who don't know the difference, I would have been more likely to give that book to Chuck D than if I'm going to give it to a novice writer, I'm more likely to give it to Chuck D than Ta-Nehisi Coates, who's not even that kind of writer. He doesn't even write fiction. But they committed to that.
Mm-hmm.
They took that left turn and they kept going down that road like in the cartoon where it's like, do not take this track. You should go here. They went down the do not take this track road and they committed to it for 8 years.
Yeah.
Right. By the time Dr. Ewing shows up, there's only so much she can do with it. I'm not even going to get into the nonsense Ridley put out, but again, he's a good writer. So if they had said go another way, then you would have got a different book.
Thank you. I've been saying that.
So what I've learned working in these corporate comics is, and I still continue to try, I've said point blank, I have 10 pitches, 5 for DC and 5 for Marvel. After that, I'm out. If they don't take one or more of these pitches, I'm not going back in. And the reason is there's just too much going on at the upper editorial and executive level that influences what you ultimately see when the comic book comes out that the writers can't talk about, that the editors can't talk about, right? They literally can't say anything about it, right? The only way I'd be able to talk about some of it is if I say for sure I'm never going back, right? But there were choices made about what that book was supposed to be, and they committed to those choices. I feel, I'm on record, on print, wherever, they made a lot of bad choices. The first one was not hiring David Walker if it wasn't going to be me. Okay? Not the quality of work, but when you get down to Miss Dr. Ewing, she's like in a tiny box, right? She's in this narrow little space where she can try to do something, right? Isn't that book canceled now?
Yeah.
Okay. So all we got is 616 and Hill's killing it. I mean, all we got from 616 is 0, and Hill's over here and Ultimate's killing it because Ultimates work the way comics used to work.
Yes.
If you think about it, right?
Yes.
The Ultimate comics don't have any baggage attached. Nobody's coming for anybody. There's no fan from 1965 going.
There's no agenda.
Right? There's no agenda. It's just make some sweet comics.
Which is why I'm a fan of it, you know. And I mean, I get it, but see, here's the thing, and I understand. I'm messing with Paul about this. I'm being facetious with all of them. But here's the thing, I don't have that issue when it comes to independent books like Philadelphia. Philadelphia's my favorite book. I know Rodney Barnes doesn't have nobody that he has the answer to. There's no agenda attached. There's no corporation. It's his. It's his, and that's why that's the pro for comic heads such as yourself, Mr. Thorne, to do their own thing. That's the motivation.
Please start calling me Jeff. Please start calling me Jeff.
Okay, Jeff. I mean, but no, I have such a respect for you. So you know,
No,
George,
no.
I'm just, you know, but I will call you Jeff. If I say Mr. Jeff, charge it to my head number.
Wow, I will find you, man. I will find you.
That makes him sound old.
Like seriously, we're all roughly the same age, man.
But you know, so the thing with Black Panther is, the damage on that book is such. It's going to take years for them to repair it.
3 issues.
Which is why you're right. They could do it in 3 issues. But when has Marvel ever done anything right? Can we name a book? Name a book. Name a book. Name a story. Name a character that they actually said, you know what? We're gonna pivot hard right and make this one.
Listen,
it's
I don't
not
know what to say
DC.
to that.
DC will do it.
Yeah, but DC
Marvel
also.
thinks.
Okay, Marvel thinks it knows everything. DC is just crazy right now. That's the way I look at it.
DC will do it right, but they'll put it in an elsewhere story that's.
They'll also do it right and then go, you know, we've been doing this book right for like 10 issues. It should be. We should make Justice League Legion of Superheroes. Why? I don't know. Like we just should. Let's do that. That's DC. Okay. There's no rhyme or reason in none of it. But
there is not a Justice League book right now.
Again,
and you know what? I don't miss it because we have Titans.
True. One. Also, they made here's their. No, you're not doing this to me. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. Listen. Okay. What has changed about the business is all of them think in terms of 3 months. Okay. Yep. Because they're thinking about their shareholders every quarter, right? Their shareholders need to get told something, even on the comic book level. So that puts them on a, you know, this weird. I don't know what the word is. A cycle that puts them on a cycle, a 3 month cycle. But comics don't work like that. They just don't. Okay, they never have and they never will. Right. So you have this thing on the street level where we're buying them, and we're going, what is this choice? What's going on? And it's because somebody at the upper deck was unsatisfied and they're like, make a turn. Like, turn from what? Turn towards what? You know, we don't care. Just turn because profits dip from our point of view, right? And you can look, you can see how it's evidenced in the comic. Now, picture that writer, right? Like, in my case, I think long term, I don't do this sort of deconstructed or what is it, decompressed. I don't do necessarily decompressed comics, but I'm trying to tell you a story. So like if chapter 1 doesn't have every aspect of the story in it, right? Like you don't know for sure that Celine's going to be the secret villain, right? We want the audience to know that in episode 1. I'm like, well, why would they come back and watch more, right? After episode 1, if they know that the big bad at the end of the arc is going to turn out to be Celine, if they know that in episode 1, what the hell are they coming back for, right? That's the weird argument, but they don't see it that way. It's the same brain that said, oh, everybody liked this Star Wars thing. Let's give them Solo and all this other stuff in the next 5 months. Yeah, they'll love that. They'll get to live in it, right? But did that work? No. And they never learned the lesson because you're already on to the next quarter. And in that quarter, we go, well, we didn't learn any lessons from that. Let's try that. Let's try that again. It's like the Einstein definition of insanity.
Do it over and over.
Right. But that's what it is. And it's all because comics are a subset of these larger systems that don't actually care about any of us. Writers, creators, audience, whatever. They're just trying to hit that 3 month mark for the stockholders.
Hey, I'm just here to say I agree 1,000% with everything Jeffrey Thorne has been saying tonight.
Is that Herschel?
Listen, from
he just bombed in, man.
Yeah.
From good times all the way to where we are now. I'm not surprised, not one bit. This is who we are. This is the industry. This is what it is. Now, I'm not saying Richard shouldn't be as outraged as he is. Listen, I could go deeper and drop some other.
Man, we just listen. We just got clean. We're not doing that no more. We're not doing it. We've already done it. We woosah'd on it.
Jeffrey Thorne.
We woosah'd on it.
I'll come back anytime, man. I love you guys.
We woosah'd on it.
And by the way, hey, Deadpool #1 comes out next week. by Cody Ziegler.
Okay.
Paul, that might be a good time to reach out to Mr. Ziegler and get a quick interview because Deadpool's pretty big.
That's a good point
coming up.
Let's holler at him, see if we can get him back.
Yeah, I spoke with him
he's over
a few months back. Yeah,
I have 15 more minutes, maybe 20 before I have to run.
All right.
Well, you should know, Jeff, that you are very popular in the chat, and they're begging us. They're saying, "Why can't he come on more often?"
I come on whenever I have time. I love you guys, but I like to be in the audience too. I come to the show. I'm not like just bombing in when they ask me. You see me. I'm commenting almost every week.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I like
you are.
One of the things I like about this is that you remind folks that a lot of the power is in your buying power, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to order stuff, pre-order stuff for your shops because those shops can't return, right? Unlike bookstores, right? If you buy a book, are you able to say at one character you have an idea for both Marvel and DC? I still want to do my awesome Blue Marvel story, which y'all would lose your mind over. And if that doesn't get across, I will tell you that story and you're going to lose your shit. Okay.
Maybe you can write it for
I
Kevin
the
Green.
first part of the story somewhere in the CBR Black Panther chat, and people were like, "What the hell?" Doesn't matter. It's not going to happen. And for
I have to say this. I have to say this. For those of you who are Black Panther fans,
oh boy,
now what?
I mean, Jeff's tired of hearing me say this literally almost every week. He wrote one of the best. I can't think of a better one. He wrote the best one shot of Black Panther of all time.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that because he's on the show, because I've said this when he's not on the show every time this subject's come up. He wrote the best one shot of Black Panther of all time with King and Black Panther. But beyond that, just so you know, if you're a Black Panther fan, if you have not watched season 5 of Avengers Assemble, which was labeled Black Panther Panther's Quest.
Yeah.
Jeff wrote that season. The amount of world building that he did for Wakanda does not get recognized, and I don't know why. Maybe because it's a cartoon?
No, there's a million reasons, but I'm just not one of the cool kids, man. All I'm here is to do my stuff. I'm here to write
that season is the only man. As a Black Panther fan, when you talk about I want more Black Panther content, check out that season.
You'll enjoy it. You'll definitely enjoy it.
You're gonna enjoy it.
It's got flaws. The animation they didn't spend a lot of money on, so I'm not claiming that. But storyline,
the storyline was dope.
Yeah,
the stuff that he goes into history of Wakanda, lore of Wakanda. They're about to do it. Disney just announced, because we're talking about stuff that's coming out relevant. Disney just announced that they're starting production on Eyes of Wakanda. Right, this show that's supposed to take place, I guess, in the past. Wakanda.
I have data about that show.
Jeff did all that already. He did it.
It's more than just starting. That show is going to kill. Y'all need to watch that show.
Yeah.
Contractually, because of being backstage on other projects and stuff, I can't say how and why I know this, but
trust me. You gonna go there? You gonna go there, Jeff? All right, I'm gonna put you on blast, Jeff. I'm gonna put you on blast. Brothers Mad Humble. What was just announced last week? New video game coming out.
I'm trying to compliment you idiots. I'm trying to tell people why they need to watch this show and listen to you. Okay. You, the audience of this show, all your friends, you've got to be like, what do you call it? Apostles. You got to go out and sort of proselytize for this stuff. Mr. Hill, Brian Hill, he's got a comic book track record, but in the indie world, who's supporting him?
Right.
Well, who was supporting him? Okay. You got to support the books you like. You got to go in and be proactive. You got to order them from your shop, because regular books, if they don't sell out, they destroy them or they send them back to the publisher. With comics, they're stuck, which means your comic book shop can't waste money. They got to buy all those comics. So if you don't order it, they're not getting it, which means you can't prove that a book is a hit unless you make it a hit. It can't be coincidental anymore. Can't just wander in and, oh, neat, they got a Blue Marvel comic. Like, if that gets solicited, you need to be in there. You need to tell them I want 10, whoever's doing it, if that's what you want. And the other thing is, you guys spit so much knowledge about the history of this stuff that I sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, right? But it's the connective tissue of why when you were 12, you're still in it now.
Right.
Right. And I appreciate that, not because I'm old, but because I'm like, yeah, this stuff is good. This stuff matters. This stuff sticks in people's heads. Right.
Yeah.
Pulling out scenes from a Spawn comic from 1993 or whatever. And you're like, this affected me. Right. This shaped how I think about this other thing. This is artwork, not all of it. Some of it's crap. Like a lot of it's crap, but some of it's art, and you can't find out unless you dig in. You got to dig in. You can't just go with like, oh, the cool new thing. Like, I remember when Blade was a joke. Blade's supposed to be British. Okay. Blade walked around in old army fatigues and had those big ass goggles and a bandolier of like whatever. And he was handling his business, but he wasn't Wesley. Right. This is what you get from this show. The evolutions of a lot of these concepts and characters and whose hands shaped it in what direction. There's no other show doing that. There's literally no other show doing that. Okay. I appreciate it. I just do. As a fan, not as a creator, as a fan. Like, I was like, oh, what are these guys doing? Oh, they're doing this.
And we appreciate you, sir. And we appreciate that you appreciate us as well. But I gotta give you your props because
here's the scoop for black comic lords in your audience. This is what I can talk about that's not covered. I will be going back to Wakanda at least 2 more times in the relatively near future. But that's the best.
What?
Hold on.
I will not be the.
This is a Black Comic Lords exclusive.
All right, you're clear to continue.
Okay, I'm going back to Wakanda at least 2 times in the next 8 months. Okay, at least 2. And I can't say what they are. And it's definitely not the book. So don't go crazy. They did not give me Black Panther. People would have been hearing me running through the streets on that one. But it will be something worth watching and watching out for. I promise you that. Okay. Wow. So that's as close as I can to it, or the snipers will get me. But but yeah, so that's not, I haven't told anybody any of that. So yeah.
We appreciate you sharing that with us, man.
Yeah. And there's another thing that I'm not allowed to announce for another company that you will be of interest in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
I still want to give you props on your work on this.
I was in the story team. Akela Cooper and Mark Bernardin did the actual scripting. There were, I think, 8 of us. This is not counting the guys who do the animation and all the video game side, and Amy, who was like the big sort of honcho of all of it. Yeah, but they brought us in, and I've been watching a lot of the commentary, what people think this game's gonna be, and I'm like, I know you want it to be Black Panther's sidekick to Captain America. The way it was when I walked out of that room, that was not what this show is. Okay, this is Azuri, and Azuri is no. There's a version where you can have all kinds of Black Panthers at the same time. When you see this, if you don't want to see a Azuri book, we did our job wrong. Let me put it to you like that. This book, this game is going to be crazy. If they kept 70% of the story we built, this game's going to be crazy.
Can I ask a silly question that you probably not going to answer? Is this going to be open, semi-open world where they'll open up portions of the game you can kind of move around? Or is it going to kind of be like the Captain America game from Sega where, kind of like that? Or is it going to be like...
Here's the problem with working on this particular game. They showed us stuff that I was like, are these the cutscenes? Is this what the cutscenes are going to look like? And they were like, no, this is gameplay. And I was like, what? holy damn. Like it looked like a movie to me.
Yeah, it absolutely.
Okay. So there's that. The open worldness of it, we didn't get into the weeds on that, so I really can't comment. I was not at the. That's a question for Bernardin or Cooper. Like I wasn't that far in. We did all the plot and which characters and all the twists and turns and stuff. But I don't want to actually write a video game because the way you write video games is crazy. Like you have to write all the dialogue. Like when you have to talk to a character and then you go away and come back and you got to ask them another question, you got to write all that. I'm like, I'm not doing all that. That's too much work for Jeff. That's way too much work. One conversation and then go away.
I recognize that a lot of these Marvel superhero video games, you can literally watch the cutscenes better than a lot of the films. But why is it that you guys get it right in the video game stories, but like the TV shows and movies, sometimes they can be whack. But like the video games, the story is always killer.
You know what? I think what happens is two things. One, certainly it depends on the nature of the contract, right? So like with the video game contracts, it's a licensed property. So what happens is they're told, here are the rules, right? Marvel will say, yeah, you got the license, but I don't know, we're about to do Wakanda Forever Part 2. Okay, so here's the stuff you can't do in your video game, right? Because that's going to step on what we're about to do with this movie, and your game's going to come out at roughly the same time. So you can't do all whatever this is over here, all right? But if you get the right writers team, they come in and they go, oh, okay, so that means we can do all of this. And generally Marvel or I guess Warner's will be like, yeah, you can do all that. We don't even know what all that is, what you just said. Yeah, go do that, right? This particular game, everyone in the room was a comic book fan. Everyone. All the writers know comics, and all the writers knew Black Panther comics. So
that's important.
Right, it is very important because there's so many versions and there were so many ways to pull things out and who's this villain, and they knew the lore from a fan perspective. So they're like, if we use this character, oh, remember when he fought this guy? Isn't that dumb? We can't use that guy. We don't want to use him. You know, so for instance, you're not going to see time traveling frogs.
Which leads to the question: does this borrow heavily from Flags of the Fathers? Can we expect a lot of that?
No, this is a wholly new event. Okay. You have not seen this.
Okay.
Okay. Like you will see, like for instance, everyone's talking about Cap and Azuri. Gabe Jones is in this, and he's a player.
Right.
You think that's an accident?
Yeah.
Right. Like this was a good room of people. So I'm not a big video game head. It was weird because I play Uncharted, but I don't like get deep into that. But Amy was the project lead. So it's going to be fire, man.
This is going to be A1. All the art Uncharted stuff has been A1 spectacular.
This is like a movie you get to be in. That's what this is like. Or in this case, a TV show that you get to be in. Okay. So all that little stuff they've shown in the most recent trailer, that's a taste.
Is it going to be PlayStation 5 and Xbox, or is it going to be exclusive? Because that's important.
I'm not privy. I don't know. I don't know what the destination is.
I'm gonna be big mad if it's not on Xbox because I
hope so. I hope everybody gets. I'm so proud of this. I hope everybody gets to play it on every platform. I'm not. I would be like, can we move on? If this was a game.
Blade is not. I know Blade is only going to Xbox.
I don't know. I don't know. But to answer your larger question, part of it has to do with how much attention is being paid by main Marvel movies and TV, right? When I started doing Black Panther's quest that Paul was talking about, Black Panther 1 had not come out yet. It was still in production when we started. So I make a lot of jokes about they wouldn't tell us anything. So part of the reason it looks and does the things it does is they wouldn't tell us how old is Shuri? What is Killmonger's deal? What does he even look like? I think I told Paul this before. We chose the Killmonger design for that cartoon because of the one picture they released of Michael in the museum looking at that African mask. We thought, oh, I guess that's going to be Killmonger's mask. We better design him like that, right? Turns out that wasn't true, right? But halfway through our production, 2/3 of the way through our production, when Marvel realized what they had, They came to us and started telling us stuff like, well, can we make the cartoon more like this? And we were like, you guys should have said that 3 months ago. We actually have finished episodes now. We cannot do what you're asking us to do. And they were so mad. And I was like, well, look, you could dump more money on it. Anything's possible with more money. And they were like, yeah, okay, we're not going to do that. Because anything costs more money, they don't want to do it. But so what that meant was in between, when I got started, basically, I think they wanted to do a Black Panther sort of whatever, because it'll do okay, and maybe we can sell some toys and some T-shirts and stuff like that. And then when they started getting feedback from the test screenings, I'm guessing from the movie, they were like, "Oh, we got something here.
Yeah,
we thought it was going to be Ant-Man. Oh, damn, we really miscalculated this. Okay, can we make the cartoon more like the movie? Too late, too late, too late." So
what you did is so damn dope, though.
But we got to do our own thing. That's the bottom line. We got to do our own thing because we didn't have attention on us. If we did it now, we'd have a box about that big to work in, because there'd be so many people looking at, oh, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. And we wouldn't have been able to make anything worth looking at from my point of view. It would be very difficult, right? So what happened, basically the amount of attention you get from the top levels, it determines how good or bad the show is going to be from my point of view. Right? If they can leave you alone for a minute and come back near the end, you're probably going to get a good show. If they are like, oh, this is very important, Beyonce's in it, I need to be on set every day, then you're going to have a crap show, basically. That's kind of the way it works. And the comic book side, I feel like the editorial, this is just my feeling, I feel like the editorial editors, the senior editors, are hampered because the Hollywood guys don't want the comic book guys to be driving anything. Right? They don't want to have to ask CB Sobolski, well, what's going on in the X-Men this year? What's going on with Avengers this year? Because we're going to make the movies based on that. No, they want them to go over and just do stuff and then tell you no if you do something they don't like, without telling you what you shouldn't do. So that screws up what the editorial side can do. And when we pitch as writers, we're just pitching stories we want to tell, most of which they say no, because it doesn't fit into some giant plan, or they just don't like it or whatever. But if they say yes, it's not because you're a genius. It's because you pitched them something they kind of already wanted to do, and you just organically thought of it yourself, right?
Puzzle piece fits in the puzzle. Yeah.
Right. You just gave them a fitting puzzle piece. So what happens is it starts to become a crapshoot. And once again, if you've noticed the comics I've written so far, I have not focused on big, giant marquee characters. Right? I didn't try for Batman, not trying to write Superman or the Flash. I haven't tried any of that. Green Lantern was the highest, and that I would call Green Lantern, as much as people love Green Lantern, they were very vocal about me not liking Al Jordan, whatever.
Yeah.
But wait, when Jeff Johns had it, he brought it up to here where he was an A-level hero. But prior to that and after that, he went back to his normal level, which was B or B minus. Okay, which is why I pitched them a John Stewart story, because I knew I mostly wouldn't get messed with, because they don't mostly give a damn about John, which meant I could just do my story.
That's true.
Right? But if they do give a damn about it, they're going to want to have their thumbprint all over it.
That's right.
Right? So that's why you get this kind of weird, flattened out, like trying to please everybody, never taking a chance type of stuff. And the fans come back like, why didn't I love that? It's like, well, they squeeze the life out of it because they're all worried about pissing somebody off, I guess. I don't know.
That explains so much.
A lot.
But
that explains so much.
How do you explain Blue Marvel then? That's the question. Because that seems to be a character Marvel doesn't care about.
No, here's what they told me when I tried to pitch them the Blue Marvel.
Well, here we go.
Again, I don't know. It's somewhere in the CBR where I posted like the about half of the plot of the opening issue. But I wanted to pitch them. They said, no, we don't want to hear it because we might have plans for him in the next year or two. So that was last year. So if they got plans for him, it might be coming up. I don't know. But
see,
they didn't
that's the same BS they said to John Hickman when he was trying to say Storm was pregnant.
Dude, I don't know if it's BS or not. Things are always shifting.
That's right.
You see how it is, right? When you see these news stories about how the executives work, they're changing their mind every 5 minutes. Somebody jingles some keys and they go, oh, that's cool. You know, like, what's that dog? A squirrel. And they look, you know, like it's like that, right? And then that trickles down to the editorial and to the creator side. And you have to make these weird gear shifts, or they tell you no, you can't do this thing. Here's a good example.
Johnny Cates, his run, what he was doing.
I don't know.
Huh?
I don't know. I'm not like with these dudes. I don't know them personally or anything. But let me think about it. Trying to think about a left turn that they took. Oh, here's a good example. When I pitched Mosaic, that's a long time ago and nobody cares about Mosaic. I pitched it as the book you saw in the first 2 issues.
One person does. One person does.
God bless you. But the pitch for Mosaic was basically, I want this guy off to the left. I know you guys are having this big war with mutants and Inhumans, but this particular dude is a jerk. He's very self-centered. So, because the story is basically how he stops being self-centered and learns how to be a human being, right? That's basically the thesis of Mosaic. So, so he's going to be over here. He's not really going to be interacting with anybody. He's just how his powers work, blah, 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 blah. We worked all that out months before I even started writing anything. This was a brand new character, right? About midway through the first half of, about halfway through the arc, God bless you. God bless you. Tell friends. About halfway through the first arc, a little bit before the end of the first little arc, they said, so we're going to mix him in with the Inhumans in the Human War. This is before the book came out, right? And I was like, huh? They're like, yeah, we're going to use him in this story over here because he can do something. His powers allow him to do something that will make this other story work very well. And I was like, okay, can I get a look at it? Oh, no, it's already done, right? So the first appearance of Mosaic is actually in an Inhumans comic, which led people to think whoever wrote that comic invented Mosaic, but he didn't. It was me. So I looked at the comic and I was like, well, you should have called me because that's not how his powers work. But whatever. So in the middle of my story, I get told, well, because we did that, he now has to participate in the battle between the Inhumans and the X, right? And there's going to be all these like tie-in books of which Mosaic will be one, right? And I was like, but we talked about this. He's not, why would he care about what the Inhumans are doing? He's been his whole life. He's just been a regular dude. He's the most self-centered man on earth. Why, what loyalty does he have to this brand new group of people? Right? We already talked about all this. And they're like, well, he's going to be in it. So write it or don't write it, but he's going to be in it. And again, they didn't check with me. So when you look at, if I'm not asking anyone to do this, I'm not bitching about this. This was many, many, many years ago. I do not care. This is just an example. Okay. But when you look at the other books, none of the writers checked with me. So they made his powers do stuff that they needed for the story, but weren't his powers. So the people who were reading the book were all over the internet because I was easy to find. Jeff, why did this happen? Right? And I was like, I don't know. I didn't read that. Oh, damn. What the hell? Why would they do this? That's not how his powers work. Right? So then I had to take a detour and modify 2 issues to explain why in those things.
You had to fix it.
Right? I couldn't really fix it because it was canon at that point. It had happened. So I had to explain why it happened.
Yeah, the pre-con. It's a pre-con.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So it was like, okay, right. But that was because obviously there was some kind of shift, right? Something happened at the editorial level, nothing to do with Jeff, right? You know who wrote him well? Cy Spurrier, whoever wrote, Spencer in the Hidden Empire, Secret Empire one. Right, where he showed Mosaic doing his Mosaic stuff for like 2 pages. I was like, see, this guy read the book. It's not that hard. It works like that, right? Or Green Lantern. I signed up for Green Lantern to do 3 discrete chapters. That was the deal, right? So the first chapter is all you guys got, and then they decided, nah, we're going to do this Rebirth of DC thing or whatever, right? I was not told, but my contract was up. They didn't need to tell me anything. All they would have had to do is renew my contract. Right? But they didn't do that because they were going to go left and it wasn't necessary to tell me. All they told me was you got to wrap it up by 12. And they told me that on issue, I want to say 10 or 9. Like they're like, you got to have to wrap this up. And I had a lot more story to tell before we got to the next chapter, but that's the way it goes. And there's not even a point.
You got to wrap up an entire volume in like 3 issues.
Yeah.
So the Oscar speech, the music playing.
But listen, that's how it works, man. Like that's the gig you sign up for when you go corporate, right? You don't have the kind of control over your product that you would have if you do your own thing, obviously. So you can get irritated by it, but at the end of the day, you know, you serve at the pleasure of the president, basically. Like, but from outside point of view, that's why fans go like, "What the hell? Weren't we all going over here? Why are we over here right now? What happened?" Editorial shift.
Well, look, we have a number of people in the chat asking about going the independent route. I know you've got a lot of stuff going on with Winterman Project. Can you tell your fans?
I'm going to be putting out some indie books in the next year. What I've been messing around with is trying to find a publisher. The ones that have talked to me all want a piece of my IP, which they're not ever getting. So that's not going to happen. Image has been ghosting me. Like we get in conversations and they disappear for months. And I'm like, I'm not the one to be chasing people. I thought we were talking. So I'm basically came down to, I'm going to have a quick talk with IDW in the next couple of weeks. And if they don't go that route, then I'm going to do what you all, and that's another thing you guys talk about with your indie books. I did a test run at this place called Comics Wellspring, and they made, you know, you have to get a proof, right, to get through the full process. So they sent me 25, which will be collector's items one day, I hope, of this book that I want to do. And I like the quality of their work. So if all the existing publishers don't happen, in the sense of that I can't get a deal that I want, God bless you. Where I need 1,000 of you. God damn. If I had 1,000 of you, I'd just be making comics, man. Yeah, people keep telling me to do the crowdfunding thing, but that seems like there's a whole lot of extra crap you got to do. I just want to make comics and sell them to people. I don't want to be making posters and like, hey, have half hour with Jeff talking to you about your story. Give me $5,000 for that. I'm like, I just want to make my little comics and have people buy them. So there'll be a web place to get either a POD version where you can get a hard copy if you want, or you can get a digital version, which I've been doing for a minute. You need to make more. Make more. I need more fans of my stuff. Damn it. So I'm going to put out a book that's kind of X-Men, kind of Inhumans, a YA type book, just fun, nothing deep. I'm going to put out a book called, you guys might like this, called Free Agents. It's basically what if Batman, Daredevil, and Black Widow all worked for S.H.I.E.L.D. undercover around the U.S. That's the easiest way I can say it. I got 2 issues of the first one, and I'm midway through on the second one. It's just a matter of styles. And the other thing I want to be able to do is one day open it up where I'm not the only writer. That's been holding me back too, because all I do is write for a living, so I can't always do my own stuff. Got to write for money most of the time. So, but yeah, you guys will be probably the first people to hear some of this stuff. I'm definitely going to talk to Paul about some of this stuff. I haven't had anything to put up on the site yet. I haven't had a place for you guys to go to get this stuff. So there's no reason to put up the logo on the Black Comic Lord site. But stuff's coming in that space. It's just me, man. It's just me. Hiring folks. I'm the editor. I'm the writer. Sometimes
look, bro, when you're ready, let us know. You're us. We're you.
I did some web comics, but frankly, I'm not a good enough artist to make a dent. That's the bottom line. I think I'm a good artist, but I went on Webtoons, Joe. I got stuff up there right now, but I'm not competing with some of these comics. I'm just a talented amateur. I'm not in that game. Like
Herschel, what's the name of that company that's here in Florida that you keep talking about?
Indie Planet. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, Indie Planet. They're great. They're great. Kablam.
Yeah.
They also do good work.
Yeah. Well, the Kablam and Indie Planet is the same people.
Yeah.
I just figured out. Well, I'm sorry. They are, but they're not. Kablam is the printing press. Indie Planet is the site that they use to
sell.
Kablam. Yeah.
Now, I wanted to ask you, because I saw you guys talking about that before. So,
right.
You bought stuff from them. Do you like that site?
I like it. It did take over. Listen, he's got out. So they're very simple. You send them a certain type of file with your comic on there, and then they digitize it, and then you can either print it out, and it's cheap for the consumer, They do give you a little bit of a kickback, and they take some profit. But the books are like nothing I've seen on there is like more than like $7.
Nice.
So you're not gonna get a bunch of gripe about how a lot of indie guys do. Well, why am I?
But you said the quality of the book was good though.
The quality is.
So maybe I'll do both. Maybe I'll put one up there on Indie Planet and on this Wellspring site. No reason not to.
Yeah.
Spread the wealth around. But yeah, I'm definitely doing that. And it's not because I don't like working corporate. I do like. I mean, we all grew up on these characters and stuff. If I there are things I wish I could announce that are definitely corporate comics that are going to come up. Hopefully they'll make those announcements soon and we can talk about them again. But I don't not like that. It's just the rules of that game are it's a minefield in a lot of ways. So you got to be built for it. And a lot of it's at the editor's whim. Like that's why I used to be a very vocal negative type of fan when people were messing up in their books. But now that I've been backstage a bit, I'm like, oh, maybe they didn't even want to do that.
Damn.
You know, like I got told on one book, we need you to make this change. And I was like, well, that's dumb. Why would I do that? And they were like, first of all, you shouldn't tell us our ideas are dumb. And I was like, well, that was a dumb one. So I don't know. I already said it. It's too late. But what? No, I'm not doing that. That's like the whole first part of the story went this way. Now at the end, it's not going to do this. People are going to go wah, 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 which is exactly what they did, by the way. But they're like, well, you can write it or we can write it. And I was like, well, you're not going to put a book out with my name on it that I didn't write. So I write my version of what you wanted done, and that's what got published. But it's not what I wanted to do, right? It's just the way it is, man. It's like people feel like if you read what I just said, you go, he's bitching about something. I'm like, no, I know what I'm signed up for. I know what the deal is, right? It's just sometimes the deal screws you. That's it.
Can I ask you a question outside of Mosaic?
Okay. Okay.
What other Black characters have you created? I'll say mainstream, Marvel, DC.
Okay, so what I try to do whenever I work in these spaces, I worked on the Knight Rider for Lion Forge. I recast Knight Rider for Lion Forge, but I added a Black member of his team named Bishop, who was basically the Black Widow, female, hard as hell. And she was like, you have a knight, a bishop, and a pawn. She was the bishop, right? So, and a rook is like the safe house. So there's that. For DC, I invented Impala #2 or #3 in the Global Guardians.
You don't know about him.
Yeah,
and the
Impala's my man.
That was your guy.
Somebody was just talking about how they liked your Vixen run where Impala was in there.
Me and Cross want to do that Global Guardians book so bad you don't even know. Oh my god,
man! How cold was Chris Cross's artwork on that book? I mean,
dude, I love working with Chris. Cross is my man. He visualizes stuff so great that half the time you go, oh, let me think. Thank you very much. Let me rethink something because of something he did in the art, like. Not necessarily story-wise, but maybe I'll add something now because, I didn't even think about that. That's just from something he drew. But yeah, so for Vixen, I did that. I introduced a version of Impala that wasn't a joke. I gave him new powers, right? Listen, go look at old Impala and then look at my Impala, okay? And I just told Chris, he gets his powers from a magical African mask. It's a totemic mask. He puts it on. His whole body turns like into black mahogany wood, right? And he can run crazy fast, but he's not as fast as the Flash because the Flash needs to be the fastest. But he can do a whole bunch of crap the Flash can't do, which is why he's cool, right? I invented what's her name? If you're just talking people of color, I also invented the lady who looks kind of like the cartoon Catwoman, Hawk Girl. In Green Lantern, Amira Kalan, just to mess with fans. I literally told the artist to draw her so she looks like the Hawk Girl from the Justice League cartoon.
Wow.
Just to mess with fans. But because I knew what they were going to think. Because they put out those, when they put out those advances, they don't put it out with the text. So I knew they could see these pictures and go, that's Shaira. Like, nope, it's Amira Kalan. She's fun. So I did that. Oh, Deadpool's ex-wife. I'm not Solo's ex-wife. in the solo book, Jerry Duggan asked me to co-write that with him, but I ended up writing the whole thing because he had to go do other stuff. So I asked him one day, I was like, have we ever seen his ex? He's like, nope. I was like, well, she's now a Black-Tino then, and she's living somewhere in Brazil or the Caribbean or someplace with their child that they have. And he's a deadbeat dad, and she's not having it. Okay. Also, Katita is her name. I said, Katita is like if Silver Sable, Natasha Romanoff, and Katita all showed up randomly in a bar, they'd be all like, oh, I see you, girl. How you doing? Right? With Katita. And she's like, I don't know why y'all are still in the game. I quit that a long time ago. I got my house. I got my stuff. I'm rich from all my money, and I'm not trying to get back in the game. So she's like that level of spy / assassin that just did, when she got out, she stayed out. But she's Black, right? These are the kind of things you do when you get to play with characters that mostly people aren't really looking at.
Right.
I don't know. I wouldn't do that. I don't have those kind of fights with people because it's stupid. But what I do know is, as a fan, I know how fans think because I am one. So one thing I hate, it's not even about the fans so much. It's these companies they put on my own books, they put out covers that don't match the insides, right? Or they'll take a section of the story in the middle of a story of a given issue. And it's like, why did you put that in the solicit art? That's a big reveal. Why would you do that? But I don't have any control. They don't ask you. I see that when you see that. So from time to time, if I have enough advance warning, if I want to mess with that process, I do. Right? So like, here's a perfect example for Green Lantern. Everybody was giving me crap because I don't like Hal, but I knew Hal was going to be in the book at some point. He's Hal Jordan. It's called Green Lantern. He's going to show up. Simple, right? So we put him on deck on issue 3. He's officially out of the book. And then for 5-6 issues, you don't talk to Hal or hear from Hal at all. And then when things are at their worst, we get that Avengers Endgame moment where Joe's got her butt kicked by the big bad guy. She's literally, her power set is bleeding off of her. And then you hear this on your left. And you turn around and it's Hal Jordan arriving, leading the Justice League at the last page of the book. What's the cover of that book? The Justice League with Joe Mullen. And I'm like, why would you make that the cover? That's the big reveal at the end of the book. Right? So since I have no control over that, I will occasionally clown the system. Listen, Hal Jordan is somebody's cup of tea. I hate Hal because he was in the way of John. And he
facts
need to be in the way of John. They built John up on that show. They just, everybody missed a trick putting Ryan Reynolds in that crap movie. Okay. What they should have done is had John be the guy once they established him as the guy. They didn't. DC has a minority problem dating back to the 30s. So they had fixed it on TV, and then idiots went, oh no, it's going to be Hal. I'm like, who's calling for Hal? Who is calling for Hal?
I said all the time, ain't nobody checking for Hal Jordan. The whole generation, John Stewart is the Green Lantern.
Do you mind though, Jeffrey?
Yeah.
Guy Gardner. I mean, I think he's needed just for that.
Okay, listen. I have a large problem with the concept of Green Lantern, which I was trying to slowly fix, which is a whole conversation we should just do about Green Lantern. Guy has his place. My plan for Guy was he was going to become the Captain Kirk of the Green Lantern Corps. Okay. Basically, what would have happened is in the next 2 arcs, Guy shows up because he's been missing for the whole first arc. You saw him be missing on that weird planet he was on. He figured a way off camera to build his own starship and get back to Oa, and he missed everything. Right. So when he gets his ring back, he says, where the hell's Kyle? Where's so-and-so? What the hell? Like, dude, we got 300 people. We just got our stick back together. We haven't had time to go look for anybody. He's like, bet. Enterprise. Anybody coming with me? Right? And Badge and Iolande go, yeah, I'm not feeling any of this either. Let's all go and have a Star Trek adventure. And then he would have gone off in his ship looking for all the busted lanterns. But primarily first, Kyle. right? And then you would have got a Guy Gardner who gets to act like Captain Kirk, and he's not a joke, right? He's a maverick. He talks shit. He goes his own way. And the way this Corps was now structured, who's going to tell him he can't do that? There's no Guardians anymore, right? He got his ring. I got my ring. Who's taking it? Who's taking it? Aha! Too bad. I'm over here.
I feel cheated off.
You should feel
not have gotten these scripts.
I'm gonna put up covers.
There's covers.
I make my own covers.
Wow.
It helps me think about the stories. This is what I'm saying though. When we started that, we had an editorial vision that was tentatively agreed to, right? Basically, if the book fell off by issue 5, none of this happens. You're going to get fired. But if it makes it a year, the odds are high you're going to get to keep going till the end. So Kyle was going to get turned into a new character. He was going to have been revivified close to what his White Lantern status was, but in a different vibe. And he was going to be more like the Silver Surfer, basically. Okay. And he was going to be his own dude. John was going to basically be off with the other Emerald Knights doing Emerald Knight shit, right? And the Emerald Knights were going to be more like the Jedi because they built solid state weapons that anyone can use. The only one who wasn't like that was John, and he was going to lose a lot of that giant god power he got to get pared back down to sort of Captain Marvel, Marvel's comics Captain Marvel. He would have been pared back down about that level of innate built into him power. He didn't need a ring anymore. Simon was going to be the guy who basically reconstituted all the dead Green Lanterns. They were all ring constructs that kind of like the Orange Lantern, Larfleeze. They all were sentient, but they all obeyed Simon. So he didn't have any power of his own, but he had an army of Green Lanterns that would do whatever the hell he told them to do, like instantly. And they also were intelligent and could think and do all that stuff too. So there was going to be that. There was going to be a sort of Green Lantern Academy. Kid Lantern was going to wake up. Her glove got taken away. She don't got no glove no more, right? So Mogo was going to be Hogwarts. Okay, he was going to quick evolve a whole species that was just bet to train Green Lanterns. The whole planet was just set up to train Green Lanterns. Okay, and then what else? Oh, and since there's no Guardians anymore, all the members of the United Planets would be sending people who wanted to go to Green Lantern Academy, right? And all the students at Green Lantern Academy would get rings, but they only worked within the atmosphere of Mogo. If you ever left Mogo, your ring would disappear, right? So you could do, I wouldn't write these stories. These would be for other people who want to tell stories with kids in them. And she would have to learn now how to be a Green Lantern because she was never a Green Lantern in the first place.
Right.
Okay.
That.
And the kid Ty Pham from the Legacy miniseries where he existed in his own universe, he was just going to appear on Mogo with no ring. And he was going to have this whole thing about how do I get back to my own universe? And they were going to team up, right? And they're going to learn their shit. And at some point, he's going to get his ring back and go home. And at some point, she might get a Green Lantern ring. We don't know. And Jessica Cruz was going to stay with the Yellow Lanterns, and she was going to act as a corruptive influence on the bad guy Lanterns because she's a hero. And she's like, I can make this ring do stuff that is heroic. Just because it scares people doesn't mean I have to be a bad guy with it. And many of the Yellow Lanterns were like, hey, I never thought of that. I can actually get redemption being a Yellow Lantern for the crap that I pulled before I got this ring. I would not like to always be having people terrified of me. I would like not to carry this chain around forever. I'm going to go with the way Jessica's going, right? And so the Yellow Lantern Corps would have split between the ones who wanted to follow Sinestro and do evil and the ones who wanted to be actual heroes who stuck with Jessica. And then that Corps would, when after that split happened, those Corps would revert to the original colors that Sinestro wore when he first showed up, which was blue and black.
Right, yeah.
And they were going to be the Sinestro Corps. And the Yellow Lanterns would just be Yellow Lanterns. They would just be the Fear Lanterns, right? And all this is going to take place over there's a couple of things I left out. And at the end of it, the last fight would be Hal, John, Kyle, Guy, right? Jessica, and Simon versus the big bad that was underneath everything. Why did Sinestro have those tats all over his body? People thought I just threw that in there because I wanted it to look sexy. Those tats had meaning. They meant something.
Wow.
Okay. It was all kinds of crap going on.
A lot of world building, man. God, no.
I'm saying Editorial knew this. It's all on paper somewhere in their files. But at some point, they changed their mind. That's it. It wasn't sales. We were sold between 28 and 33,000 books a month, which is okay. It's not a big hit, but there's no reason to cancel a book, especially Green Lantern. Right? So whatever with that. I like to add in characters. I like to do things with characters that are off to the left because usually those are the minority characters. They're the ones that don't get any shine, and therefore there's not a lot of attention on them. So that means I have more room to play with them. It's just the way my head works. And I don't want anybody down my neck like Superman wouldn't do this. You know, the Hulk doesn't talk that way. You know, I'd rather do Beta Ray Bill than the Hulk.
Styles So Serious ask, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't you write Sinestro as having a bit more respect for John than he had for Hal?
I don't think they interacted in my book. My version of Sinestro was kind of like me talking about the Green Lantern Corps. Sinestro said everything I think about the Green Lantern Corps. Hal and Sinestro never interact in in my run, but he had respect for Joe quite a bit. Pardon me. That's why that conversation happened. Everyone expected there to be a big fight, and I was like, "Well, why would I give you the thing you expect?" Why would I give you what you expect when I could give you something different? And you had two sort of predator cats sort of sizing each other up. And at the end of it, Sinestro offers her a ring. Like, people forget that. Like, they talked for a minute. She said, what did she say? He says, come ask me what you came here to ask me. And she said, did you destroy the battery on Oa? And he said, honey, if I had blown up that battery, I would have written my name on Oa large enough you could have seen it from space. No, I did not blow up that battery. Okay. Because he'd asked her, have you ever heard of me being a liar? And the answer is no. Right. And then she's like, cool. Can I take my people? He's like, bet, go. I'm already winning. I'm already taking over the council. Go have a good time. And when your ring runs out, I got a yellow one for you. That's my Sinestro. Right. So I'm not mad about it. I never get mad about any of this because it's not my toys. Ooh, what happened? Oh, but yeah, I do try to inject in every book a little bit. If they have a character they're not using, like Silhouette showed up in one of my things for no reason, just as she's just in it because I like her from New Warriors back in the day.
Yep.
I did the thing with Hobie and his wife where they finally get back together and stay together and they actually have a game plan and she has agency. She's just not the girl that the hero is sleeping with, right? She's like, look, you're an idiot. Do it like this, right? So there's all this kind of stuff you try to do, but one, the fans have to agree. They have to buy it. And two, Editorial has to go, we're going to stick with this.
Right.
And that's where it falls down for a guy like me because I don't have the juice that makes them go, well, it's not doing great this month or next month, but we see where he's going. We're going to give him some running room. I don't have any running room, none. So I have zero running room. Now I think, what's his name? I think Mr. Hill has some running room, right? He's building a little cloud of like, damn, this guy's dope around himself. So that's why I'm a big proponent of him getting on the main 616 book. But you know, I don't have any knowledge about how those decisions are. I don't know what their plans for Black Panther are. You know, I know for sure they're not calling me because they got my number. So anyway, blabbity, blabbity, blabbity.
Well, we appreciate you sharing your time with us. And
I sucked all the oxygen out of the room again.
No, not at all. I mean, everyone's like captivated with everything you said.
No.
It actually makes you kind of mad when you think about all the plots that you've done and you've pitched, and for some reason, as we complain about all the time, the editorials of these companies have their own thing that they want to do, and in my opinion, my personal opinion, editorials, particularly in Marvel, just aren't as good as they have been in the past.
All I will say is I don't think they have the freedom that the editors of the past had. There's no Jim Shooter anymore. There's no Paul Levitz. That doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Just doesn't exist. They don't have that kind of like, I trust you, go play. I know by the end of the year, all these numbers are going to be up. There's nobody who can say that.
And that would be reflective in the type of books that we're getting right now.
It is.
But you've got some projects coming up, Jeff, and
yeah, you're gonna be happy.
You're part of the team, so you're welcome anytime.
Oh, you're getting first scoop on all this stuff. You should hit me as soon as you see the announcement.
I'll be mad if we don't get first scoop.
Yeah, as soon as you see an announcement, you should hit me. Yeah, I mean, there's some stuff I'm really proud of that's coming up, and I have no control of when they announce. So I know that these announcements are going to come between now and the end of the year. Some of the stuff's going to drop in the summer, so there's some of those announcements are coming soon rather than later.
Yeah.
And other things will drop later. There's one thing I've promised the boss of it that I will not say that I'm involved yet, but it's a big deal. So, and it's the kind of thing you guys will like. So just keep an eye out, and as soon as you see it, because you might see it before me. I'm not always checking for this. So like I'm just got my head down trying to write. So I don't always know what's going on in terms of announcements and things like that. Like I was surprised by the video game thing. I'd honestly forgotten about it. And I was like, hey, whatever happened with that video game? And then they made that announcement like the next day. So like, I don't know. But yeah, if you see it, hit me. Seriously, I'd rather be here first.
If you have the free time in August, there's a big convention going on. A lot of us are going to be there. Black Comic Lords are going to be there.
Where?
Atlantic Comic-Con in Virginia, North. What do you call it?
Norfolk,
Virginia, August 16th through 18th.
Well, I'm from the DMV.
There you go.
That's not impossible.
Literally, and I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say this. Everybody's gonna be there.
Oh, okay.
Like everybody's gonna be there.
Okay, maybe it will.
If you don't go when it's done, you're gonna see the pictures. You'll be like, "Oh my God, everybody was there. Everyone's gonna be here."
It honestly only depends on the work schedule. But I will. Let's say pencil me in. Pencil me in. I'm gonna need to take a break.
I'm
Hopefully
going to. When we get off, I'll email you some stuff that people that want to talk to you.
Okay.
And see if we can get you involved in Atlantic Comic-Con as well. Okay.
And Derek, you know that thing we were talking about?
Yep.
Stay on me about it because I'm going to get caught up in my work and I'll forget. But it's not.
I'll reach out.
I'm not being a big star. I just have a bad memory and I'm working all the time. So keep me on it and we'll do it.
All good.
See how I said that in public? Now everybody can clown me if I mess it up.
What's frustrated talking about? A BCL frustrated shirt? What? Does he know something I don't know?
Okay.
Jeff, I got a quick question, Jeff.
Yes,
there was somebody earlier that asked about what could we do to, I guess, and I know you kind of answered it or whatever, but what could fans do to help corporations like Marvel or DC or whoever, influence?
Get me a Blue Marvel run. That I don't know. What I would say is this: one of the reasons I love this channel is I wish this channel had existed when I was a teenager. I've long been of the opinion that. And this is true of Latin people, it's true of Asian people, it's true of Black people. If we simply point ourselves at one thing and say, this year, this thing's going to be a hit, that thing's a hit. Because that's how many of us there are, and that's what our spending power is. We spend in the billions. We spend more money than we generate, which I still haven't figured out how we were able to do that. But Black folks do that. So anything we can do, and I'm not saying point it at me, because there's plenty of people out there that need it more, frankly. I got a whole career going on in Hollywood. I do comics because I love comics. Okay, I don't do that. I mean, they better pay me, but I don't need it. Okay, I walk away. I have a job that tells me I can walk away anytime I don't like something. Most of the people who make comics don't have that luxury. So if we all got together and decided, it's going to be Philadelphia this year. This year, no matter what else you do, Whatever else you do, you are buying. You're telling your shop, I want that Philadelphia, right? Even if you didn't plan on getting it that year, just to let them know we got muscle, right? Because it's the muscle of your dollars that makes them do stuff. You can yell on the internet all you want, unless you're getting somebody in a situation where they're going to get canceled. They're not trying to hear you.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. So the positive way to do it is, I don't know how we can get this going, but if we could all just choose, it could be Ultimate Black Panther, like make that blow so high up that Hill gets to become Brian Michael Bendis. And it's like, well, I would like to do Avengers for 2 years. Okay, Mr. Hill, your fan base will follow you. Your crazy fan base that buys all the stuff you make. That seems like the way to do it to me. In terms of getting me a specific job, I'm a bumpy ride, man. I don't know if some of these editors want to work with me. I'm here for the story. I'm not here for the check or the company. I'm here for the story. So, and my rule is, you're going to win every argument because you're the company and you own the thing, but you're going to have the argument. Okay. You're going to have the argument. You're going to know, you won't be able to say later you weren't told. Right. And that attitude can get on some kind of people's nerves. To me, it's just about trying to make the best product you want. I'm not there to have a fight, but I'm not there to not have a fight. If I think there's something good that you're overlooking, I'm going to say it. Right. So there's some editors that probably don't like that. I'm not mean about it. I'm not cruel about it. I don't get big-footed about it. I'm just a creator trying to do the best job possible. So sometimes you butt heads. There's other people who just say yes to everything. I don't know how to work like that. So some editors may not be featuring Jeff, but I guess it doesn't hurt if you hit up CB and say, I heard Jeff has a great Blue Marvel story. Maybe he'll let Jeff, I heard you had a great Blue Marvel story. Then I get to tell him, I guess, but wait till these announcements come out and see if you still feel you need to do that.
Uh-oh.
Just give it a couple of weeks to a couple of months. Just wait.
Okay.
Stuff's going to be popping by summertime, let me tell you.
You got me hyped right now.
We're waiting for that exclusive.
You should be. I can't believe it sometimes. I'm like, damn. I keep having that. What's that guy's name? He's a rapper. Oh my God. It doesn't matter. I'll figure it out. Every time I get hype about something, I hear this X gonna give it to you song. Right? In my head. I'm like, that's where it's at. So that's how I'm feeling right now.
It's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to take like a bets on what it could possibly be.
Can we do that? And we'll just go off your smile.
DMX, that's it.
Huh?
Say what now?
NBA Live girl got it.
Thank you. It was DMX. That's right.
Not having a Black Panther logo on his chair.
Listen, y'all, I gotta go. I'm in so much trouble right now. Kari, I would kill to work with Kari again. I think Kari might be too big for me right now. But yeah, I mean, if we get Kari and Emilio together, Emilio Lopez and Kari Randolph together, they are the truth. Like, they make your work better. Everyone who gets a chance to work with both of them together, they are the truth. I love Kari. That man can draw his ass off.
All right, Lords. We got to wrap this up.
I got to bounce. I am 8 minutes past where I should be.
We appreciate your time. Come back anytime. I mean that literally.
You know how to get a hold of me. And you guys are first, whatever the new stuff is.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, thank you so much. We've really enjoyed this opportunity. So,
I love this stuff. I love this stuff. And just wait till I'm not working for these guys anymore, all the stories I can tell. Just wait. They'll have names in them and everything.
We're gonna have to give you your own show called the Jeff.
No, it'll just be disclaimer.
Just one big disclaimer.
All right, I gotta go. I love you guys.
Okay.
This
Peace.
is great.
Thank you.
Peace.